Hello, and welcome to Luck Through Mind Control, presented by Dantalian Jones and Ryan Valito. I am Ryan Valito, here to introduce Dantalian Jones, hypnotist for over 20 years. Um, we're going to give you Luck Through Mind Control today. And this event is sponsored by Hypnotist Magazine. Um, and so, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Dantalian Jones.
Excellent. I'm hoping you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Can you? Oh, okay. Excellent. Excellent. Well, welcome. My name is Dantalian Jones. I want to thank everyone who is participating in this seminar. It is largely going to be just an informational type of seminar. What we're trying to do is just sort of get the word out about these seminars being available. Sometimes it's just incredible information, and then sometimes it is incredible information with something you can actually get for it. And this is mostly incredible information, but we'll give you some more information on some other products as well. Where I wanted to start is just with the whole concept of luck. Now, for most of my life, at least certainly most of my professional life, I have dedicated myself to finding out how people change, and then I want to find out how to change people. And that sort of got me into the whole field of hypnosis, of neurolinguistic programming, and of mind, and what I condensed down to the simple two-word phrase of mind control. And what I wanted to talk about today is about what people consider as luck. And there are people who we can look at them and obviously they just seem like incredibly lucky people. And we all have to admit that luck would be an incredible thing to control. Unfortunately, one of the characteristics of luck is that it is seemingly random. There are only moments when luck befalls us, and then there are those rare people who just seem naturally lucky all the time. Now, these lucky people, and I use quotes when I say lucky people, seem happy and are gifted with wonderful opportunities. They're also the types of people who can apparently convert failure into fortune, calamity into cash, and loss into love. If only we could be so lucky. Now, the problem that I found is that how we view luck and these so-called lucky people, because we tend to see luck as an external force that randomly befalls the fortunate few, instead of a quality that is based on something we can control, like our beliefs and our perceptions. And as long as luck is external to us, it remains totally outside of our control. But what if we took an alternative view of luck and lucky people? What if we tried to find out what they had in common? What are their thoughts and beliefs that they share in common? And what if we could take those thoughts and those beliefs of those people we call lucky and take them on ourselves? Would we become lucky? Well, what I want to propose is the answer is yes. And I will further lay out a little plan that dissects their thoughts, beliefs, and actions of these lucky people in a way that I hope will be incredibly interesting and insightful here. First of all, who are the lucky people? Well, our first thoughts when we think about lucky people often is envy. They have things that we would like to have and seem to get them without any effort at all. All of their stories seem to have a happy ending regardless of the tragic beginning that they have, and they seem to have a way of falling into gutters and finding gold instead. A close look at the stories of these lucky people will reveal that they are told from a very particular point of view, and this is important. That point of view sets the story into a lucky frame, and it was done without any sort of pretense or effort. So the point of view of these lucky people is so deeply ingrained in them that it is actually a subconscious process they may not even be aware of. They just know they're in a happy life, and as a result, they drift about their lives with good fortune seeming to befall them at every moment that they're breathing. But lucky people are not the ones who win the state lottery, but in our eyes, it is as if they have won the lottery for life. So in other words, when you're controlling luck, you're not actually controlling random things outside of your control, but things within your control. These lucky people are surprisingly happy, and they always seem to have something exciting to focus on. And their lives are not without failures. They are not without loss. In fact, they have, as much as anyone, they have simply a way of responding to those things without it affecting them. So this would be an incredibly valuable tool to be able to take on for ourselves. Lucky people don't romanticize their successes, but they don't loathe their failures either. They look at them both with a very sort of even weight. They focus mostly on the opportunities that are coming up next. Also, lucky people seem to move quickly and effortlessly without any of the slightest sense of self-consciousness. They simply respond to the situation very naturally. And I'm sure many of us know and have actually felt it ourselves, this sense of hesitation. We're waiting for something. We're wondering if it's the right time. But lucky people, if you were to ever ask them what they do for fun, their response would be, everything I do is fun. So if only we could be so lucky. What I've done is I've sort of looked at and analyzed how these lucky people respond to things, how they look at things, and what they all have in common. And I'm only going to mention this once, and that is if you have any questions, I think we have a little chat box in which you can mention your questions. And when they come up as Ryan reads them, I'll attempt to answer them as they come up. Those questions, and again, I will not ask this a second time. So there are three things that I have discovered that these lucky people have in common. And just to divide it up into three different areas, it is their beliefs. That's the first one. They have a set of beliefs that make them feel lucky. They also direct their focus and attention. That's the second part. The third part is basically their reactions and their responses to people. So there are these three mental components that make up someone who is feeling lucky about themselves. So I want to first just talk about the nature of beliefs. First of all, when we talk about beliefs, I always want to clarify that I am not talking about facts. Facts and beliefs are not the same thing. A friend of mine once said that a belief is belief because it's not a fact. A belief and a fact differ in that facts can be measured and proven, but beliefs can only be stated. In their essence, a belief is a very simplified rule that we use to make sense of the world. As an example, one could try to teach their children how by entering into a certain part of town they expose themselves to an increased probability of being hurt, injured, or assaulted. Now, that may be a little more difficult to get through a child's brain, but you can actually create a belief by simply saying there is a bad part of town. Now, towns don't have bad parts, and towns aren't bad in themselves, but calling it bad creates a belief in which we respond to it in a certain way. So beliefs are incredibly useful, and the truth of the matter is that we cannot navigate the world without these beliefs, even though, remember, beliefs are not facts. Beliefs also generally sit in the background of our awareness, so they're mostly subconscious. But they can be analyzed and changed if there's a big enough benefit to the change. So an example of a very interesting belief. this is also a belief that many lucky people share, which is the world loves and supports me. I always like to say that with a smile on my face. The world loves and supports me. There is really no way to prove that belief and form an objective point of view. Therefore, there's no evidence that the world loves and supports anyone to any more degree than anyone else. I always like to point out that probably, if you look at it objectively, the world is totally indifferent to everyone. But when we take on the belief that the world loves and supports us, we start to change. We interact with people differently. We feel different about ourselves. So this is the power of belief. A person who believes that the world loves and supports them will generally be less worried and more cheerful than most others. The belief will act as sort of a filter, and this is where beliefs come so important. They filter the information that come in. So beliefs act as a filter. So any good event that is seen supports the evidence and reinforces the belief. So let me repeat that. Beliefs filter the information and bring out information that supports the belief. Beliefs are not facts, but when we have a belief, we tend to find evidence to support it. So it should be noted that this is one of the held important beliefs that lucky people tend to have. So I'm going to go through 4 sets of beliefs. If you have any questions, write them down. We'll go through them individually in the time that we have. So the very first belief is the world loves and supports me. The second belief, and this one I love, the second belief is something wonderful is about to happen. Please write that down because I'll go over it next here. The third belief, I deserve 100% of the good things I get. And the final belief, there is more than enough money, love, luck, opportunity, etc. in the world for everyone. So, I talked about the world loves and supports me. So I want to talk about this second belief. That is, something wonderful is about to happen. Think about that. When you focus on something wonderful about to happen, and you don't know how it is, you don't know what that wonderful thing is, but just assume you know something wonderful is going to happen. Try that on right now. Just imagine that something wonderful is about to happen, and you don't know what it is. Now tell me, what do you notice? What do you notice? Now, I've asked quite a few people this question, and when I've asked them that question, I get some very interesting answers. First of all, their mind tends to shut up. It tends to slow down, because if there's something wonderful that's about to happen, they want to be aware of it. So in other words, the chatter that's going on inside your own mind, it isn't there. You're focused externally as opposed to thinking about your own self and wondering, what am I going to do, and all these sorts of things that go on, within your own mind. You're focused externally. You're looking for something wonderful that's about to happen. Another thing that tends to happen is because you're so focused externally, instead of just thinking about your own thoughts, your field of vision tends to widen. You tend to see more, and that's because you're wanting to take in more information. You're wanting to find out what that next wonderful thing is. Now consider that if you know something wonderful is about to happen, but you don't know what it is, that leaves an entire huge range of things to happen to be filtered through that belief that something wonderful is about to happen. Now, it could be anything. And of course, we want the most wonderful thing to happen, but if you don't know what it is, anything will do. It could be a smile on someone's face. So you're walking around, there's no chatter in your head, you're imagining something wonderful is about to happen, but you don't know what it is, and so you're just on edge, ready to find it. And someone sincerely smiles at you. And you think, could that be something wonderful? Yeah, that could be something wonderful. Of course, you don't stop, because there's always something wonderful that's about to happen. So you look for the next thing. As you go through and you just start to build this something wonderful that's about to happen, your mind starts to make a habit out of it. And as a result, your chatter, your mental chatter tends to slow down. You become less self-conscious because you're focused externally. And you start to notice things that you wouldn't normally appreciate. Now, yes, maybe that $100 bill will pass by your feet and you'll notice it, and it will just be one of the wonderful things that are out there. But then you begin to find that there are incredible, wonderful things out there. On the Yahoo discussion group that I have, it's go to Yahoo Groups and search for Mind Control 101. That's the group. I asked the members to do a little experiment and just imagine that something wonderful is about to happen. And I got some very interesting responses. The first thing someone said is, I noticed I started to smile a heck of a lot more. Now, if there's anyone else who noticed this, again, just type your comment in there, and we will read it. So let's just, first of all, that one, something wonderful is about to happen. If you just took on that single belief, it will make a vast difference. And the way you take on beliefs, there are different ways of doing it. There's NLP processes. There's simply a conscious exercise you can do by just imagining that that is true. But I have some exercises that I can give out to actually change beliefs. Okay, so what I'd like to do is just move now to the third belief, which is, I deserve 100% of the good things I get. Now, this goes down to our very core of self-worth. And what you will find is those people who don't consider themselves lucky, many, if not a lot of them, but many of them, simply don't feel good about themselves. If you felt good about yourself, you would have things to feel grateful for that you'd focus on. So it goes down to this sense of deservingness, that when something good happens, you deserve it. You're a good person. And when, I know this is so important because one of the central things that I do when I'm doing hypnosis is I do a process that's in the hypnosis field is called ego strengthening. And it's basically, in essence, telling that person that that person you see when you look in the mirror, he, she is a good person, loved and loving, beautiful inside and out. And I want these people to feel that sense of self-value, of self-worth. Because when you feel good about yourself, you feel lucky. I mean, that's just the nature of this feeling of deserving, this feeling of being filled with a sense of personal value. So, again, that's another belief, and there are some very powerful ways to install beliefs, but I will probably not go into those here. Keep in mind, though, that if you find a particular belief valuable, you don't have to go through an NLP process. You just start thinking it and really noticing the value of it, and just accept it. And that's the easiest way to change a belief. Okay, let's go to the final belief. There's more than enough in the world for everyone. So that means there's more than enough money, there's more than enough love, there's more than enough luck, there's more than enough opportunity, and so on. The reason that that is so important is because if we, and it feels somewhat new agey, they call it abundance thinking, but consider the fact that if you're in a state where you're lacking something, and someone else, well, let's say you're single, and you don't want to be single, and someone else is in an incredible, wonderful relationship with someone who's totally attractive and fulfills their needs in that area. For people who don't think there's enough, they will feel as though that there's a limited resource of love, and that person took it, and therefore they cannot have it. But if you fully believe that there's more than enough in the world, what's going to change is you're going to recognize that, oh, there's more than enough love in the world, and that means what that person has demonstrates to me that I can get exactly the same thing. And it doesn't create envy. It creates a sense of satisfaction, a sense of rejoicing, because if someone else can do it, it simply means, by God, I can do it. So that's the benefit of this belief in abundance. And where you can sort of check yourself is looking at what you are envious of and who you are envious of. Keep in mind, if there's someone out there that you're feeling a little twinge of envy, I know you won't admit it, but you'll feel it, just recognize that what they have you can do. You can have as well. How you're going to do that is going to be a new creative process, but you can have it. Okay, so we covered the beliefs. Now we're going to talk about focus and attention. Now, focus and attention, we'll go back to that slide, focus and attention. Focus and attention is basically what you pay attention to. It is the stuff that's in your conscious field of vision. Beliefs are somewhat at the subconscious level, but we can change them. Focus and attention is really what we pay attention to. So these are the things that we allow into our awareness and the degree of awareness that we give them. The more attention and focus you give to something, the more it is in the forefront of your awareness. And of course, in this world of distractions and the internet and limitless sorts of media, there is a limitless number of things we can use to occupy our attention. And when we allow those things in our field of awareness, they can take over, and before long, we're on YouTube watching cat videos for 2 hours. And for those hours we were distracted, but they weren't necessarily of much value. The focus that lucky people tend to have is on opportunities that they can act on in the present moment. And that's important. Not opportunities of what they can do in the future, though those things come to mind, but the opportunities that they can act on in the present moment. Keep in mind, they have this belief that something wonderful is about to happen. When they see something in the present moment that they can act on, they act on it. And when we allow the focus that lucky people have, it gives them these opportunities enough importance so they don't fade away over time. And there is also excitement and enthusiasm lucky people feel when they focus on these various opportunities. So lucky people understand the difference between what is urgent and what's important. And I'll draw a distinction here. If something is urgent, it is not necessarily important. Urgent means it is calling for your attention. Important means that it has a long-term payoff. So let's assume you're on the phone and maybe your child comes running up to you and screaming, I need water, I need water. That's urgent. But you know that your child is not going to die if you don't give them water while you're on the phone. So that's urgent. What is important is if your child is passed out from dehydration and you know they need water, then that has an entirely long-term benefit and you act on it immediately. So as a result, understanding the difference between what's urgent and what's important, these lucky people have their attention, it's not easily turned away from the important toward the urgent. They know that finishing a project is often more important than posting a Facebook reply, so they easily put the urgent aside in favor of the important. All right. Now, where we're going with this is also with how lucky people respond and react. So if we go back to the fact that people believe something wonderful is about to happen, if we look on the fact that their focus and attention is focused on what they can do in the moment, the opportunities, then you're going to find that lucky people, they react almost automatically when they see something that is an opportunity for them. This is both good and bad. It's good in that we have these reactions when we need to respond quickly to events. It's bad in that some, maybe many, most of our automatic reactions don't help. In fact, most of our automatic reactions only help us maintain the status quo. And they are not designed to find the most positive on long-term outcome. So a good example, we have automatic reactions. A significant other says something snarky to us. We get an automatic reaction of being defensive. We start being snarky back, and all of a sudden one of us is sleeping on the couch. Our automatic reaction did not benefit the situation. So we have to control our automatic reactions. I have a quote. It's sort of a conversation that describes automatic reactions. You can think of it as a dialogue. So person A says, when do you want to leave for the party? And person B says, will you quit pressuring me? That's the joke. So person B's automatic response seems to have very little to do with the question that was posed by person A. It did not provide the most positive result for either person. So how you respond, how do you respond when someone that you're close to is angry at you? Do you act defensive? Do you get angry back? Does your response make things better for both of you? Lucky people tend to be more thoughtful and focused on the most positive long-term benefits. So in other words, they ask the question, what response is going to give me the best benefit? Or the one that I post as a tagline in my emails is, what would you do? What would the very best you do in the very worst situation? So they're always asking, what would the very best me do in this situation? When referring to a friend, one person explained to me that whenever something bad happens, I notice he decides how he's going to respond, and then he also decides how he's going to feel about it. So in other words, he didn't just automatically respond. He thoughtfully determined what his best action and his best emotional response is. So another thing, as far as people, lucky people, and looking at them in the field of how they respond, it's important to point out there are certain ways that they don't respond, things they don't respond to, or they don't focus on. So interestingly, lucky people do not focus on being lucky. because that would mean they have to reflect internally and ask themselves, am I lucky? They're feeling so good about what's happening in the world around them, about what they see in the next wonderful opportunity, that they don't have time. In fact, it would be wasteful if they start to say, I'm really lucky. I mean, they have a great deal of gratitude, they have a great deal of appreciation, but reflecting it back on themselves just slows things down. So let's see. Ryan, I'm going to ask you, are there any questions that have come up? Are you with me, sir?
Yes, sir, I am. Let me just unmute my mic and look at the chat.
All right.
So in the chat, we don't see any questions. Does anybody have any questions?
All right. Well, if you have any questions about luck and about situations that can be applied here, continue on. I'll just continue here. So, and by the way, Ryan, you're welcome to interject here. So if there's anything you don't think I'm being clear on, let me know.
Certainly. You've been doing a wonderful job. I've been enjoying the presentation.
Okay. Well, let me just ask you, Ryan, what happens when you just sort of take on the belief that, and you don't know what it is, but you know something wonderful is going to happen? What feels differently when you do this?
You know, this is something I actually practice in my life, you know, and it was wonderful hearing you articulate it. You know, this, I guess some may call it the law of attraction or something. But, you know, I go through this idea, you know, maybe I'm one of the lucky ones. But I go through this, you know, anticipation of luck every morning. I imagine money coming into my PayPal account, usaprinter@gmail.com if anybody wants to make that imagination come true. But, you know, certainly it does cause a good anticipation. You know, a positive anticipation will cause positive reaction, I've found in my life. Certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I want everyone who's listening to this, I want to encourage you to do is start the day and end the day with a particular exercise. And I try and do it, you know, when I'm conscious enough, before I get out of bed. So I wake up, I may see it's time to wake up, sometimes there's an alarm, but I'll ask myself, okay, what do I get to do today? Now, I may be incredibly fatigued when I'm asking myself that. The mattress magnet may be on full, and I just don't want to get out of bed. But if I just keep focusing on what do I get to do today, not what do I have to do today or what I should do today, what do I get to do today, then I start looking at those opportunities. And if I just keep focusing on it, it's almost guaranteed within 2 to 5 minutes of me asking that question, the mattress magnet has turned itself off. I get out of bed and I feel excited about the day. The opposite of that is when you go to bed, which is ask yourself 2 questions, which is what am I grateful for? What was really great about today? And then ask yourself, what do I get to do tomorrow? And again, you just seed your mind at that time when the subconscious mind starts to take over with opportunities, gratitude, appreciation. It is a really incredible exercise to do as you get up in the morning, as you go to sleep at night, and you will notice a difference, particularly when you get up in the morning. It totally resets your attitude. So I want to hand that one out to anyone there. Of course, I can't guarantee what's going to happen during the day. Your boss may yell at you. Your significant other may have a fight. Who knows? But it will start your day on the right foot. Now, as I had mentioned, there are a lot. Yeah, go ahead.
I did see, you know, this is a new platform we're working on here, and the chat actually wasn't obvious how it was, but I clicked and enabled it, and now I do see some dialogue going on here. So, Rob, how would you find control/balance between strain of 2 opposing beliefs embedded in your subconscious with new creative beliefs? So I'll read that again.
Okay. Okay.
How would you find control or balance of strength between two opposing beliefs that are embedded within your subconscious?
Okay. Good question. You'd have to look at the specifics of the beliefs, and they honestly, as human beings, we go about our lives with many conflicting beliefs. Sometimes it can be very painful, but there is a quality, I think it's called negative capability, and it is the ability to actually hold two opposing thoughts in your mind at one time. If it has something to do with luck, for example, like abundance, well, first of all, you may actually have an experience that is filled with poverty and hurt and things like that. And so you might naturally think that you're in a state of lack. On the other hand, you may be aware that you'll do a heck of a lot better if you just imagine that there's more than enough in the world for you. And those two beliefs may struggle with each other initially. There are some processes in which I can make one belief more prominent and just destroy the other one. And I have a product I'll talk about in a moment that will allow you to do that. But if you don't have that product, just consider which one's going to give you the higher payoff. And you can also consider that one belief may benefit you more in one situation than another. For example, I believe that today is Monday, but that's not going to be true the other 6 days of the week. So you may be in a situation where one belief is going to benefit you more, and you might have to consciously choose it. I hope that helps. And let's see, Rosemary says that if I keep thinking of something wonderful is about to happen, and I keep thinking that I'm going to win the lottery, if I repeat this exercise often enough, will I be lucky and win the lottery? I am not going to promise anyone to win the lottery. Lucky people, some of them win the lottery, but there are more people in poverty that buy lottery tickets and win than actual rich people. What it will do is it will change how you feel about your life. It will make every good thing that you have much more obvious to you and feel much more satisfied with it, so that you'll totally feel lucky. So I certainly hope that helps. Okay. Let's see. So what I wanted to do is, first of all, I have developed a product. Let me first of all let you know that the information I've given you here, I know for a fact it is more than enough for you to go out and have a wonderful life. I hope you've written it down. I hope you listened to the recording multiple amounts of times. I want you to use this material. If you like this material, even just a little bit, I did develop a product that is totally focused on developing luck. It is a CD. It is available at mindcontrolpublishing.com. It's called Luck Through Mind Control, the very same name as this particular webinar. Now, how it differs is I will give you some very specific and some very useful exercises to install these beliefs and to sharpen your focus. And best of all, what I do is I have at the end a wonderful 20-minute hypnosis session where I reach in and I grab your subconscious mind and give it a nice little lucky massage so that all of those things are instilled. So you get this benefit of having the exercises you can do consciously. Then you get the exercises of knowing that subconsciously through hypnosis it's going to be installed even deeper. More than anything, I just want you to use this material. And when you use it, please let me know how it works, because I know life is awesome and incredible, and those moments that I reflect on it, I know I'm one of those lucky people, but then I'm too busy with all the other stuff that's going on. So again, if you get that, it's at mindcontrolpublishing.com. It is one of the CD products called Luck Through Mind Control. We're going to be wrapping up here very shortly, And this is just one. In fact, it is the second of the webinars that we've been doing. And we're going to be doing these regularly. The goal is once a week, great information, a good product probably that might be offered here. But mostly for now, I just want you guys to have the information and really enjoy it. So spread this around. It's going to be on YouTube very shortly, and you'll be able to listen to it. I will certainly send out a link for those who are doing it. I want to guys, I want to thank you very much for taking part in this. Once again, mindcontrolpublishing.com. It's called Luck Through Mind Control. And Ryan, thank you very much. As some of you already know, it is my birthday today. And if you go to Amazon.com, you'll find my wish list there. So you can certainly just take Dantalian Jones wish list, and it's somewhere there. So I do appreciate it. I love doing this, and I certainly want to do more. I hope you all attend. So guys, Ryan, thank you very much.
Absolutely, and Dantalian, I just want to let you know, everybody in the chat has been, since I got it working, has been wishing you a happy birthday emphatically. I want to echo the fact, Dantalian and I talked about it. We got this, we bought into this webinar platform that we think is amazing. And we just decided it was better to start giving you guys information and start doing it and figure out how this thing works on the fly instead of planning more than anything. So we're just going to keep giving you guys this raw information, and the presentations are just going to keep getting better. Dantalian's plethora of knowledge. He has many books, many things that we're just trying to convert into raw information here, expose you guys to some ideas. Another thing we want to mention, always want to mention Jeffrey Stevens Hypnosis in anything we do. Check out jeffreystevenshypnosis.com. We absolutely appreciate all the time you guys have spent and taken out to view this webinar, and happy birthday, Dantalian. Before we go,
yes.
Rosemary has a question. A friend of ours, Rosemary, we know Rosemary from actually her attending one of Jeffrey Stevens' hypnosis courses that Dantalian is teaching. Rosemary asks, she says, if I keep thinking that something wonderful is going to happen, and I keep thinking that I'm going to win the lottery, if I repeat this exercise often enough, do you think that she'll be lucky enough to win the lottery?
No. I cannot promise that you're going to win you're going to get something specifically lucky. I can promise you do the exercise. You will definitely feel like a lucky person. You will feel like you have won the lottery of life. So I want to ask you, which would you rather have, $100,000 or have won the lottery of life? I can make $100,000. I want the lottery of life win.
Absolutely.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much. Stay tuned. I will be sending out an announcement when the next webinar comes up, and God bless you. Thank you so much, and for all the birthday wishes. Take care.
Take care.